Tom, welcome back to Rushden. Just tell us how the move came about and what's brought you back for another go.
Well, Chris just gave me a ring a few weeks ago and sort of gave me the option and said he'd like to have me back if I was interested, which obviously I was. Had a think on it and various different things and a chat with my family and stuff like that, and was excited by the prospects. Here I am.
You spent almost 8 years with the club in your previous spell. We know how much Rushden means to you. What sort of role will you be taking up as you come into this second chapter of the club?
Well, first of all, I'm coming as a player. That's what we've spoken about, and I want to have an effect in that sense. Obviously, I'm coming back with a couple more years in the legs than I had when I left, obviously, so a little bit more experience and things like that. So Chris has obviously said there's a young squad here, so a splattering of experience is needed as well, so hopefully bring that. But in terms of what I want to do is play football and hopefully be effective on the pitch and bring some success.
And you're obviously the club's all-time top goal scorer of 100 goals. Are you confident you can add to that tally once again?
Hopefully, that's what I'm here for ultimately as a centre forward, is to score goals. I try and do everything else, that you can when you're there, but ultimately a striker is judged on his goals, and hopefully I'll be between the posts.
And it is a very young squad that you're developing, Chris. It must be so crucial to have someone like Tom bring that experience in.
Oh, absolutely. The thing is the one thing I keep going on about is the environment we're trying to create, the right people being around it, and he just ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't he? His experience, the fact he's been at the club before. We've got Michael Harriman defensively with experience that he brings in, and I just felt with the forward line we've got some really young, exciting, young, hungry players. Whose legs are probably a little bit younger than Tom's, but to learn and play with each other, we've got opportunities now. We can play with three proper forwards if we want to in a game. We've got options, and for the boys that we've got with Jonesy, Ethan and young Pharrell, we've got some really exciting boys at the club, and I'm hoping that it will give Tom at least a life for him to find even more energy and kick on, because that's what we need at the club, and we want to be successful. And if we're going to be successful, we're going to need a squad, and we're also going to need experience. And it's the one thing we are probably a little bit light on at the moment, so I'm hoping that this addresses it in the final third.
And Tom, since you've left the club, you've gone on to play for the likes of Daventry and Cambridge City, both in the league that we are going into now. So just how important were those experiences for you coming back to Rushden?
Yeah, good. Obviously, I've seen the league that we're going to be playing in over the last couple of years, or 18 months or so. It's tough. They're certainly the clubs in and around sort of Birmingham are big physical sides. You've got to be able to match that, but also there is the quality there. There's some teams in there that really get the ball down and want to play. So it'll be a challenge. It'll be a challenge throughout the whole season, But with the squad that Chris is trying to put together, exciting young players that have got the energy to get about. I don't think there's anything to be worried about. You've got to be aware of who you're coming up against, but there's certainly players here that I know are going to be involved that can cause damage to these teams.
And have there been any conversations about what the aims are for the season, or is it just taking each game as it comes and seeing where things go?
Well, I can't speak for anyone else, but I've always approached football and you want to win every game that you play, and ultimately when you're going with that attitude, you want to win leagues, you want to get promoted. I'm realistic with the fact that there are clubs that are going to be in the league that are probably spending a hell of a lot more money with bigger budgets and bigger resources, but from a player's point of view, you want to win every single game, and that's going to mean that you're competing for silverware or promotions or even playoffs or whatever it might be. That might be me getting ahead of myself, but I'm certainly not going into a season thinking, I'm just going to settle for a mid-table season. That's just not me personally.
I think I'd just say as well, Joseph, in terms of what our aims and targets, it's the same as what it was when I took over, in terms of every game we go into, we're going to be trying to win. Every game that we go into, we're going to be trying to be competitive as we can be. We're going to be hard to beat, we're going to be hard to break down, we're going to try and be good on the ball, off the ball, we're going to try and make sure that we create the right sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Without the ball, we're going to be hard to break down. And these are things we're going to be going forward into. Where we finish in the league, that will look after itself if we get them things right. So I think this is a really good signing for the club. I'm delighted he's joining.
Absolutely. Thank you both for your time.